Hello, dear one. Now I invite you to stretch our neurons together by exploring time traveling. So, first of all, we need to know that in a sense of the actual structure of existence, everything exists all at once, here and now. And there is no other time. But this omnipresent here and now is like formless potential for everything. So it is like nothing until we, as divine sparks of creation, start to explore it. When we get into our filters, into our perceptions, into these bodies, then we are experiencing flow of time, which is just organization of experienced events. And it is, yes, it is fully related to consciousness, inseparable from consciousness. So, with having that in mind, now we can explore the concept of time traveling, which is actually happening always, from past to future and from future to past, our relative past, our relative future. And how does that work? So in a linear sense, it is obvious. It is like you growing up in this physical reality. But in opposite way, we can find that, for example, on a certain time we couldn't find a solution to a problem, or we couldn't handle the situation very smoothly, very well, and we created some kind of karmic imprint, certain momentum of energy which is not fully balanced, which is not fully resolved. And then this energetical momentum goes into the future, into our relative future. And if we chosen to expand our consciousness and evolve in this life, when we become this future self with much more love and wisdom and balance. So we catch this echo in our present, which is a future for our past self, which is still echoing into our present. And then we, with our consciousness, going back into that past self which created this energy momentum. So we are re-experiencing this moment, but with higher consciousness, and then we lead that energy into its proper integration. Therefore, that karmic energy is dissolved. So, having that in mind, you can now imagine that since, again, everything exists all at once, so you can imagine that there is a future self for each situation in each layer of reality. On each dimension, there is a future self for you. And everything is taken care of. Feel that for a moment. Feel that relief. That future self is always have your back. But you still, from where you find yourself now, you still need to do your best, again, to consciously expand and to step into new territories that represent your highest heartfelt desire fulfilled. And then those future selves can meet you halfway. Because if you are lacking this courage to evolve, to do your best, to be your true self, then it is like you are in a closed circle. You're circling in a very, very closed circle of patterns. And of course, everything is changing, and eventually we all passed all our limitations. But the choice is always now. This possibility is always in a present where all your free will is. So all I'm saying, you don't need to suffer. And yes, and also in each present there is a helping hand from your future self. And you can consciously tune into this future self that is another way of time traveling, but not from future into past, but from past into future. And you can use your imagination and imagine yourself, for example, after several weeks or months or years, or at the end of your life. And yes, and you will get certain downloads, certain insights that you can again transmit back into your present and transform your progression in this life. So once you truly realize and wrap your consciousness around the fact of formless potential, which is always here and now, everything is possible, therefore, so you become more flexible in your experience of time flow. And then you can create bigger leaps in that, and you can dance with time in a less linear way, more freely, more creatively, more playfully, more joyfully. You can tune in into any version of yourself. just by using your consciousness and imagination and all other props that you feel resonates to you. But of course, if you want to ground certain version of yourself in this reality, you need to act accordingly. That's a key here. So, thank you very much for receiving. Thank you very much for your feedback, for your support. You can check information tab below and see you in this timeless adventure of the now.